Hi, and welcome to our Passport to Success information session for community partners. We appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedules to join us. My name is Ron Roberts, Jr. I'm a program specialist for families and schools, and I'm leading this year's Passport to Success campaign, as most of you already know. In the room with me, I have Julia Lopez, who is a program associate. And Julia will be an instrumental part of not only the technical aspects of this webinar, but also helping us to successfully implement the campaign this summer. Over the next 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to share key information and resources to help you better understand the campaign so that you're able to successfully implement the campaign at your particular site. You should have received some PowerPoint slides this morning, so please reference those slides as we go through the webinar. Now, if for some reason you're having problems accessing the webinar through your computer, there is a phone option, and you can access the webinar through the phone and also follow along with your slides. What you need to do is simply to dial in to area code 914-339-0029. Once again, 914-339-0029. The access code will be 811-136-441. 811-136-441. And you just need to simply follow the instructions given in the recording. All right, so let's go ahead and move to the next slide. And we're going to talk about some suggestions on how to best manage the webinar tools. And so the first thing that you want to focus on is the Grab tab. And it's simply a matter of clicking the arrow to open and close the control panel that you see to your right-hand side. You can also click the square icon, which will allow you to toggle between full view window mode and screen window mode. Secondly, is the audio pane. And the audio pane is going to allow you to be able to ask questions towards the end of our time. So simply select audio mode. You can select one or two options. You use telephone or use the mic and speakers. And by default, all attendees are muted. And so you won't be able to ask questions or to provide any comments during the webinar, but towards the end we will provide an opportunity for you to submit questions to us, and we'll share more about that. To ensure the best quality sound, you want to be sure to press the mute button on your telephone if participating by phone. And be sure to maximize the volume on your computer or phone to ensure that you get the best quality sound. And the last is the questions pane, and I referenced it briefly. You can submit questions. So as I mentioned, you won't be able to audibly ask questions during the webinar, but you will have an option to submit your questions through the questions pane. And so you can see the visual where you can enter your questions in the questions pane box. All right, so more of how to pose a question. As I mentioned, questions must be submitted online. So to submit a question to the presenter, simply type in your question in the question pane and in the control panel, and then click Send to Submit. And feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation. So although I won't be able to address the questions during the webinar, you're more than welcome to submit your questions as we're talking, as they come to you. And then at the end of our webinar, or at the end of the presentation portion of our webinar, I will take time out to address as many questions as I possibly can. All right, so next slide. We welcome additional questions, and so after the webinar, you may have some other questions that come to mind. So feel free to send me an email, or you can call us at 888-766-2242. Once again, 888-766-2242, and we're more than happy to take whatever questions that you may have after the webinar. Okay, so now that we have the technical piece out the way, let's jump into the meat of our webinar. And so, and I just have to say, too, we just thank you as community partners for your support of this campaign. We are really counting on support of a number of different entities to be sure this campaign is successful. So we're working with schools, we're working with corporate funders, and we're working with folks like you who help to make the campaign possible. So we thank you for your role in this. And we're very excited about the summer, and we're looking forward to providing you some very positive updates as we go throughout the summer. And we're looking forward to hearing your reports from what we hope will be a high volume of visitors going to your particular locations. So let me address the information session objectives. So number one, we want to give you an overview of the Passport to Success campaign. And so you've gotten some information, some preliminary information previously, but I want to be able to spend a little time just to talk through why this campaign is in existence and why it's important. Secondly, we're going to talk about the roles of community partners. And then third, we're going to talk about how we as families and schools are using Passport to Success to promote your particular sites. And then fourth, we're going to share a few key dates for this year's campaign. And then last, we'll take some questions. All right, so why this campaign? It's to address the issue of summer learning loss. So according to the research, 65% of LAUSD economically disadvantaged third graders from communities of color are reading below grade level. And it's estimated that summer break will cause the average student to lose up to 1 month of instruction, with disadvantaged students being disproportionately affected. So these statistics are alarming. And so as families and schools, we decided to find a way to address summer learning loss in our own way. And so Passport to Success was birthed out of this. And so Passport to Success increases summer learning by creating access for students and their families to explore free and low-cost learning activities during the summer. And so we want to be sure that during the summer, LAUSD students, preschool, elementary, and their families have great opportunities to continue to learn, but to learn in a way that's going to be fun and engaging. And so thanks to you and really making your sites available to our families and being willing to stamp their passports, these families will have an opportunity to get to great locations and just to be able to experience something that's going to be both educational and fun. All right, so going to the next slide, just a quick overview of the campaign. So this is an annual initiative of families and schools. We are entering into our second year. And so last year was the pilot year for Passport to Success. And so we're looking to learn from last year and looking to make the program better. Families and Schools has been around for 12 years, and the mission of our organization is to involve parents and community in their children's education to achieve lifelong student success. And so we believe that families are a very important part of a student's educational success, and so through our various initiatives and programs, we work to get parents more involved in the educational process. So the campaign, Passport to Success, encourages families of LAUSD preschool and elementary students to visit museums, libraries, and other cultural locations. The campaign dates are June 8th through August 31st. So starting this Saturday, the campaign is going to get kicked off, and it's going to run for about 2.5 months and end on August 31st. Our families will receive passports that can be stamped at 37 locations plus 73 libraries. And so our kits, summer learning kits, have already been distributed to all of our school partners. And so families have these kits now, and so they'll be ready to get out to your location starting this weekend and to visit and to get their passports stamped. Students will receive prizes for turning in their stamped passports at school in September. So we're asking students and family to go to the various locations, get their passports stamped, and then in September, we are hoping they will turn in their passports to their schools, just to let the schools know the different sites that they went to, the number of times they went to different sites, and they'll be able to receive prizes. So this year's campaign is expected to reach 40,000 LAUSD students and their families in over 60 schools. And we're very excited about that because last year we were able to reach 20,000, and so we're doubling our reach this year. And we also have increased the number of schools that we're partnering with too. So we're very excited about the number of families that will learn about Passport and will specifically learn about the great opportunities at your various locations. All right, so moving to the next slide, listing our sponsors and community advisors. And so as I mentioned earlier, Families and Schools is partnering with a number of different organizations to make this initiative possible. And so a couple of our two sponsors are Target and Infinity Auto Insurance. And so these are the folks that are providing the financial backing just to help us to be able to produce the great materials that we're producing, and also to be able to have a number of different activities that we're having. In addition to our sponsors, we also have a group of community advisors. And we look to these organizations and individuals to provide us guidance as we look to strengthen Passport to Success. And so we were happy with the progress we made at last year's campaign, but as we look to build on the success of last year, our community advisors are very, very instrumental in providing us advice. So we thank all of our partners for all the different ways that they are contributing to helping us to make Passport to Success successful. All right, so the next slide, I want to dig in and talk about the Community Partner Kit. And so as I speak, some of you have and will be receiving your kits. So we started to distribute the Community Partner Kits today, and over the next couple of days, we'll be distributing the Community Partner Kits to all of you. And so you'll have these tools to help you to implement the campaign at your site and to successfully track families that come through. So just want to quickly go over the pieces. And so starting with the passport, and this is the booklet that you will be stamping. So families will be showing you different pages in their passport, and there will be a page for you to stamp. And we'll talk more about that. There'll be a couple posters that we'll make available to you so that you can advertise Passport to Success to your visitors. There's also a visitor tracking form, so that's going to help you to be able to successfully keep record of those families that are involved in Passport to Success that come through your location. Towards the bottom of the screen, we have the Family Resource Guide, or map, and this map lists the various locations that families can go to throughout the summer. And then we have Community Partner Guidelines, and so you should have received this yesterday. And so this just gives you some guidelines to implement the campaign successfully. And then last but not least, we have a fact sheet. And the fact sheet tells you a little bit about the campaign, our partnership with families throughout the campaign, and also some of the statistics that I referenced in our slide earlier. In addition to these items, you will also receive a brochure on the MTA's Rider Relief Transportation Program. And the reason why that brochure is important is that last year some of our families had problems getting to some of the locations due to some financial challenges. And so we reached out to partner with the MTA to figure out how we could help these families get to locations like yours, without it costing them a whole lot. And so the MTA has a great program called the Rider Relief Transportation Program. And so families, by applying to that program, can receive subsidies on transportation. All right, so let's look at some of the pieces of the Community Partner Kit a little closely. So the fact sheet will essentially share the issue of summer learning loss, which I referenced earlier. It will give an overview of the Passport to Success campaign. It will talk about how the campaign partners with families to be successful, and then just references how schools and families can celebrate the campaign. So this is great information to share with your staff members, because we want to be sure that your staff members who will be greeting visitors are well aware of this. And so if families are coming in and showing passports, your staff are not out of the loop. And so this is a great piece, a first piece to share with your staff so that they can understand the campaign and why it's important. And it will give them just an overview of how the campaign works. Next is our posters. And so we're going to provide you two types of posters. One is what we call a desktop information board. And so this will be a poster that you can place on a visitor's desk, admissions desk, advertising the program. So there will be a stand that will come with it so that you can have the poster sitting upright. We also will provide you a wall poster to hang at your staffing location. So we ask each of you to provide us an area within your particular location where families can come in and get their passport stamped. And so that location will be a great place to put this Passport to Success wall poster. So wherever you have designated as your stamping location, we suggest putting the wall poster there. Now, one other thing about the wall poster, or the wall poster and desktop information board that I want to reference, is a QR code that we put on the bottom right. And so as families come in, they can actually scan this poster with their mobile phones, and they will automatically be directed to the Passport to Success website. And so it's our way of really being able to direct families to where they can get information on the campaign and where they can hopefully register their summer learning kits too. So if you see this little bar on your posters, it's a QR code that will allow families to be able to scan and with their mobile phones and to be able to be directed to the Passport to Success website. All right, so moving on to the next slide, I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the actual passport. And so I wanted to show you this page in Passport, page 2, and just so you would be aware, so we're asking families to register their passports. So why is this important? As families register their passports, they're going to be eligible for free learning tips throughout the summer. So as the families that register their passports, each week we will send them an email out or a text via the cell phone with tips on how they can continue to help their children learn throughout the summer. Number 2, by registering their passports, families will also receive free books. And so one of our partners, Read Comigo, has agreed to mail 3 books to each family that registers their passport. And so that's a great deal. And then last, families that register their passports also will be eligible for prizes. And so we will be conducting raffles throughout the summer. And so those families that have registered their passport will be eligible to participate in those raffles and hopefully receive prizes. We also indicate the campaign date, June 8th through August 31st. And so the families know the period of time they can go to your location to get their passport stamped. And then the third step, we let families know that they need to simply return their passports and to their respective schools, and they'll be eligible to receive prizes. Okay, so we just want you to be aware of that. So we don't expect you to be able to address, many questions from families about this, but we just want you to know what we are asking families to do. And if you, with this information in front of you, if you're able to guide a family to this page and let them know how they can register their passport, you're more than welcome to do so. But just as an FYI to you. All right, so next page, this is another page in the passport, and this piece is going to be particularly important to you as community partners. So this is one of a few pages that families can actually ask you to stamp. And so on this particular page, there are 4 areas for stamps, and so a family can go to 4 different locations and have each location stamp on this page too. And so we're asking them to write the name of the location, the date they visited, and then to ask the location to stamp their passport. So this particular page is going to be important to you to know. All right, so I wanted to also just give you an idea of some other parts of the passport, and certainly when you get the passport, you can rifle through it and read this information for yourself. But we decided to create a calendar for families to plan their visits too. So to the upper left part of the screen, you'll see a page that says My Summer Learning Adventure at the top. And so families can determine, which weeks in June, July, August that they want to visit different locations, and they can map it out this way. We also have a page that has 10 tips for parents to read aloud to their children. We want to encourage the children to keep reading throughout the summer. There's another page to the bottom left where students and families can write their favorite things about the locations they visit. And also, finally, to the bottom right, a page where students can list books that they read through the summer. So these are just some other pieces of information that are included in the passport. All right, so let's move from the passport to another part of the kit, the Family Resource Guide, or the map as we affectionately call it. And so this map will list the 37 locations that families can go to, and it also will advise them that there are 73 local libraries they can go to visit and also get their passport stamped too. And so we decided to really design the map in a way that would give the families a sense of adventure, that they're going on a trip, and obviously using their passports. And so the map is a great visual, and it lists geographically the different locations. And on the other side, which I'll show you in a moment, it actually gives information for each location. And so, as I mentioned, there are 37 locations, and you can see them in a purple bar And so once again, we are thankful to all of our locations, all of our community partners for agreeing to stamp passports and also to help track visitors. And this is just very, very important to helping us to have a successful campaign. All right, so next page, staying with the Family Resource Guide. And so I wanted to give you just an idea what the other side of the map looks like. And so we list each of the 37 locations by area. So for instance, we have downtown LA, Pasadena, West Side, South Bay, and so forth. And then I wanted to show you a close-up so you can see the type of information that we have listed. And so for each location, we provide a short description in both English and Spanish. So the parents have just some idea of what the location is about. We list location's address, phone number, and website, and also hours of operation. And then last but not least, well, a couple other things too. We also list admission and parking information. And this piece is important because we want to let families know that, hey, there are great places you can go throughout the summer that don't cost an arm and a leg. And so you can get in for free in some cases, in some other cases, just a nominal fee. So we want the parents to be aware of this so that they're more encouraged to go and visit your locations. And then also the last part is a passport stamp check-in. So as I mentioned earlier, we ask each of you to assign a place in your particular location that families can go to have their passport stamped. And so Flight Path Learning Center, for instance, has indicated that there's going to be a sign-in table in the reception area that families can go and have their passport stamped. So general information on each of your locations, and of course, where families can go to get in your locations to get their passport stamped. All right, so moving to the next piece in the kit, the visitor tracking form. And so all these pieces are going to be important, but this one I just have to really highlight. We're really counting on you to use this tool to help us keep track of the families that come, and a couple different reasons. So number one, we as an organization, Families in Schools, we want to know how successful this program is being. And so how many families know about our program? How many families are actually visiting the locations that we have been sharing? And so number one, we want to be sure this grid, knowing the number of families that visit the locations, lets us know how successful we're being in our efforts. But number two, it also specifically lets us know how successful we are in promoting your organizations. And so you're our partner, and part of our partnership is the agreement that we're going to promote your organizations through various channels. And so we want to be sure that we're being successful. So getting this information from you lets us know how successful you are in actually promoting your organizations. And so we're asking for each of you to take some time, assign somebody, obviously, but take some time to track the number of visitors that are coming each day. And so we have dates for each month. So in your kit, you will receive a visitor tracking form for June, one for July, and one for August. And so we're listing the dates for each month, and also some time slots. And so from, let's say, take for instance June 4th, Tuesday, June 4th, there's a time slot from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And so if you have 5 families that come to visit, or 5 individuals that come to visit who are part of the Passport to Success program, you can note that in the visitor tracking form and so forth. And also there's a split space where you can note the total number of visitors per day. And so we're going to ask at the end of each month for you to submit a completed visitor tracking form and return to us. And you can send it to Julia Lopez, who I introduced earlier in the webinar. And you can send it to Julia by fax, and the fax number is at the bottom of the visitor tracking form, or you can send it to her through email. Her email address is also at the bottom of the visitor tracking form. And so certainly, if you have any questions about this, we're happy to answer them too, but this is going to be an important piece of the Community Partner Kit. All right, so let's go to the next slide and talk about your roles in making this campaign successful. And so number one, we're asking for you to share Passport to Success information with your organization staff. And so as I mentioned earlier, we want to be sure that your staff are well aware of this program, because we are anticipating that a number of visitors will come to your locations. And so we don't want your your staff to be in the dark. So you can start off by sharing the fact sheet that I referenced earlier and any other information in the kit that you think that they need to know. So that's number one thing. Number two is to provide a stamp or a sticker and a passport for families who will be visiting from June 8th until August 31st. And so, you know, some of you already have stamps or stickers, and for those of you who requested a stamp, that stamp will be included in your community partner kit, and you should get that in a couple of days, 1 or 2 days. But we are asking you to, as families open their passport and ask you to stamp it, to stamp. Now, one thing I have to say about the date is that the date is a little different than what we had earlier communicated, and I believe we had communicated June 15th or so as a start date. And we had to change the date due to the LAUSD school calendar. School ends on June 7th. And so we needed to get the campaign started a little earlier too. And so, so we wanted to get the kits out to you this week and get any other information we get to you this week so you could be prepared if families happen to come to your locations starting this weekend, June 8th. The third role is designating a check-in location for families to have their passport stamped. And so we talked about that previously. Fourth is to track the number of families with stamps on the Passport to Success visitor tracking form and to send to our organization on a monthly basis. And so we just talked about that. 5 is to display a Passport to Success poster in a visible place. And so once again, we're interested in promoting this program to visitors. And so we already have reached out to a number of families. As I mentioned, our reach through our school partners is to 40,000 families. But there are other families out there that we would love to have this information. And so as families come to your locations that may not be aware of Passport to Success, we'd love for you to have a poster there so that they can certainly see it. And, you know, if they're interested, they can sign up. And for those families that have signed up and they're coming to your location and maybe they're still a little uncertain that they're in the right place, having that Passport to Success poster in a visible spot will let them know that, yes, okay, hey, I am at the right spot. And so those are the reasons for having the poster in a visible spot. And then the last role of community partners is encourage families to register their passport by phone or online. And so you will have the information in your kits. And as I mentioned, that page in the passport, that 1, 2, 3-step process that encourages families to register their passport. And so certainly as you get families coming into your locations, don't hesitate, you know, to encourage them to register their passport. You know, if they come and they show their passport, you can ask them, hey, have you registered your passport? So it's not, you know, so it's certainly something that, you know, we would, you know, ask you to do in addition to the other roles. All right, so the next page, I wanted to talk a little bit about families and schools, part of the agreement, part of our partnership with you. And so you have graciously agreed to do some things to make the campaign successful. It's tracking visitors, stamping passports, encouraging families to register their passport kits, and so forth. But we also want to be sure that we're keeping up to our end of the bargain too. And maybe it comes through promoting you. And so, as I mentioned, we have already distributed some learning kits through schools, and our reach is 40,000 students and their families. So that's a lot of families that will know about your location. And so that's the first thing we've done. Secondly, we will be featuring your information on our Passport to Success website. And so we will be listing your locations and key information. So families that visit our website, and particularly the Passport to Success website, they will be able to see information on your organizations. Third, we will be cross-promoting your events through social media channels. And so we will be using Facebook and Twitter to share information with our families and also our other partners, which will help to spotlight the events that your organization have throughout the summer. We also will be marketing your summer activities to families through weekly emails. And so we will be sending out emails to all of our families each week with summer learning tips, but also information on the types of activities that your organization is hosting. So that's why we asked you to provide, you know, any family days or any other information that would be important to kids. It's because we want to be able to promote it too. And so we will be sending that type of information out through weekly emails. And then, as some of you are already aware, we had our kickoff celebration last week, May 30th, last Thursday. And so we had a printed program which lists all of our community partners. And so we are finding different ways to promote your organizations because we value the service that you offer our families. We want to be sure that as many families as we possibly can get to know about it, do know about it too. And so I just wanted just to be very clear that these are the different ways that we are promoting your organizations and really keeping up to our end of the bargain. All right, so next page, some key dates. So I briefly mentioned the kickoff celebration, which was last week at Dolores Huerta Elementary School. This week, as I mentioned, we are distributing community partner kits, and so we started today, and we intend to wrap up by Thursday. And so by end of day Thursday, all of our community partners will have received their kits. And then very important dates, obviously, are the dates of the campaign. So from June 8th, this coming Saturday, through August 31st, students and families will be able to go to your locations and really get their passports stamped. And in September, we will collect the passports, and then in October, we will distribute prizes to each school's student winners. So each school, based on the passports they receive and based on the number of visits that a student has made to different locations, schools will determine student winners, and then we will provide prizes in October. So just some dates to keep in mind. All right, so folks, so that wraps up the presentation part of the webinar. So I hope that that information was clear. But if not, I want to take a few minutes to be able to address any questions you have. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a question pane. And so if you have a question, you can just go ahead and type in the question, and then I will do my best to address it. And for any questions that I'm not able to address over the next few minutes, I will certainly feel free to email me or give me a call at the number listed on the screen, and I will address your question at that point. So I'm going to give us a few minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. All right, here's a question. So it says, I was wondering how we might go about getting our social media information to you. So that's a great question. Feel free to email me that information. So certainly if your organization has a Facebook page, a Twitter account, please be sure to do that. We love using social media at Families in Schools, and so we would love to be able to link to you through Twitter and through Facebook. So simply send me an email, and then I'll work with our communications folks to figure out how we can best leverage that. But we will be doing some different things this summer just to best promote your organizations through our social media channels. So yeah, so simply email me, and then we will go ahead and have that referenced. But great question. Yeah, feel free just to send any other questions you may have, and I'm happy to address those. And I have to tell you, folks, I'm very, very excited about this. Last year, well, let me back up. So this is my first year leading the initiative, and I've heard some great things about last year. And so just with all that I've experienced with our team this year, I'm just very excited about, number one, the reach, the families that we're having, the activities that we're planning, and then once again, the experiences that I know families are going to get by going to different locations. We actually have a couple of great videos at our website that highlights families going to different locations, and it's just really, really cool just to see that, and it just reminds you how impactful a program like this is, and really how impactful your organizations are, too. So we're providing the access, but you folks are the ones that have the resource. You're the folks are the ones that are creating the experiences for families, too. And so I'm proud to be a part of this program because of great partners like you. All right, so I'm going to give a couple more minutes. I don't want to hold you folks any longer, but I want to be sure that any questions that that need to be addressed are. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the question pane. And as you receive your kits, if you have any questions about any of the materials, feel free to reach out to us. We try to be very clear in our communication out to you about, the materials that you're receiving too. But, so you may get something and you're not quite sure what it's for. So feel free to email me or to give us a call, and we're happy to be able to walk you through the materials and how to best leverage them. All right, folks. Well, I think those are all the questions. Looks like we just had one question, which is okay. But certainly, if any questions come to mind afterwards, you have my email address, which is rroberts@familiesandschools.org, or you can call me at 888-766-2242, 888-766-2242. So with that, I want to thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedules to join this webinar. We hope the information was very valuable to you. And actually, here's one other question. Okay, I caught it just in time. And so the question is, how will we be getting our packets? And so so I mentioned that we will be distributing kits starting today over the next couple of days. And so we're actually having folks who will be personally delivering the kits to you. And so we're making calls just to alert you about that. And so if you have not received a call, you will receive a call or an email. But the kits will be personally delivered to you either today, tomorrow, or Thursday. And if for some reason by end of day Thursday you have not received it, then let me know too. But very good question. Okay. All right. And I have one person who says they just received their packet. All right. You're welcome. I hope you liked it too. So, but thank you for letting me know about that. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap up. But thank you again for joining us, and thank you again for your valuable support of this program. And we are looking very much forward to working with you during the summer. Okay, take care and have a great rest of the day.